There are conversations in life that keep replaying in your head. Have you ever noticed that, guys? Well, I probably it's me, but I do have conversations from as way back as 10 years ago or over 10 years ago that still do replay in my mind. Sometimes I'm seated like in the bus or in the car, or I'm in the shower and then I hear that conversation over again. And guys, today I'm going to talk about one of the conversations that have stuck with me like throughout my life. And I believe like it has influenced probably maybe 80-90% of the decisions I make in life, the things that I do in life. And I thought, well, I'm going to share with you all today and see how much of an influence that has been to who I am, who I'm becoming, and who I want to be in the future. So guys, I'll take you through one of the most influential conversations I've had with my dad, and that has stuck with me. It's still with me, guys. A big welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Florence, and if you're watching me for the first time on this platform, we talk about life in the diaspora, life abroad, and success and all things. Because I moved to the UK 2 years ago, coming up 3 years now, and it's been a roller coaster of things. It's been a lot of things, and I do love to share opportunities and experiences based on how I experience them. And today I'll take you through one of those conversations that influences probably all of that. So this was I love my dad, guys, so this is not to take away from my love for him. A big shout out to him in case he's not on YouTube, he's not on any of the socials, but just in case he will see this video. I love you, Dad. So guys, this was when I was doing my GSCE, which is my O levels. If you're watching me and you're from Zimbabwe, so my GSCE, if you are well versed with that language, that universal language. But I was still doing my O levels. I do remember that. And one of the things that I asked my dad was, Dad, if I go on to pass my O levels, what are you going to do for me? Part and parcel of that question was because that time I was about like 15, coming up 16, and all that everybody was talking about was, if I pass, my dad is going to buy me a phone. That was when phones were just starting. If I pass, I'm going to go on this trip with my parents. If I pass, my parents are going to buy me this and that. So I thought, well, I'll ask my dad what he's going to do for me if I pass my O levels. And the answer I got was not what I expected. Still raw, still hits hard, even as I reflect now. Because I didn't expect him to say that. It's not something any parent, probably, I don't know, would say. I don't know whether or not I'll say that to my kids or not, but he said it to me. And guys, one of the things that I want to share with you is, if I was today's 16-year-old, today's I'm 2000, and would have got that off my dad, trust me, I would have had a mental breakdown, mental meltdown. I would have nearly died, committed suicide. I would have hated him forever. But no, I'm from that generation, and well, I just picked myself up and carried on with life, and I still do carry on with life, but based on that advice. So here's what my dad said to me. He said, I'm not gonna do anything for you. Who does that? It's not like I wasn't a bad child. Chances were that time I was gonna pass, which I went on to do. So he couldn't have said that to me, but he said, no, I'm not gonna do anything for you. And I said, why? And he said, well, you know what? If you do not want to one day be sitting with your children, and your children are mad and furious and speaking to you in the way you're speaking to me now, you're going to go back to school. You're going to go and pass and give your children the life that they'll be proud of. Honestly, I was 15, 16. How did he even know I was going to have children? How was he even thinking in that direction? I wasn't even thinking in that sense. I wasn't even looking that far in life. I wasn't even sure whether or not I wanted to have kids or not. But then that has changed my life now that I'm a mom, now that I've got 2 kids. And every time I'm about to do something, I'm about to make a decision, it just comes up and I reflect and I make decisions based on that. So obviously, frustrated and disappointed, I picked myself up and carried on with life. And I went on to do my GSCEs, write my exams, and I passed, and life went on. And obviously now I have got a family of my own. How has that been significant is the fact that from then, even the decisions that I went on to make about life, about career, about everything were based on, I have to make a life for myself. My parents are not going to be there to just give me everything I want or give me the life that I think I deserve or the life that I think I should be living. But the onus was on me to work for it, make decisions that would influence the life that I wanted and the life that I want for my children. So a big shout out to my dad, and I'm grateful for that advice, because I do remember after my GCSEs and everything, I went on to do my A-levels and stuff, but then I knew I didn't come from that family where we had so much, but I would have loved to go to uni and do all the things that I've always dreamed of. I mean, I've always done sciences and things, and I had big dreams. But again, I knew it was a struggle for me to go through A-level and high school, like with school fees and things and provision and stuff. And I'm so proud of my parents. I'm so proud of my siblings and my extended family for all the support they gave us for us to go through all that. But what that taught me was the fact that I have to make decisions, sometimes not based on what I want, but based on practicality, based on possibility, based on, is that the best thing to do at that point in time? So again, after my A-levels, when I was faced with either go to uni or find a job or do something else, because I knew it would be another struggle to be able to fund my tertiary education. I'd seen how everybody had, rallied around me, supported my parents to get me through high school, which was quite amazing. I mean, a big shout out to my family, a big shout out to everybody who has been in part and parcel of that journey. I'll share with you in due course, guys. Stay tuned and subscribe. So I was faced with a tough decision. I would have loved to go to uni. I had good grades. I had everything. It was everything that everyone around me, my friends and everyone I knew was doing. And I would have loved to do that, but I had to make a tough decision. That's why I decided to go into apprenticeships. I think if you have been following me, if you've been on this channel and on my other socials, I've always said I've got an engineering background apart from the care work that I now do and love. I've got an engineering background, so that's a bit of an insight into that. So instead of me insisting I wanted to go to uni and strain everybody else financially, resource-wise, I opted to go and do an apprenticeship. I do remember one of the conversations I had with one of my brothers was the fact that you can always become what you want later on your own terms, using your own funding. That time again, it hit hard because I wanted to do other things, and that time I'd made up my mind I wanted to go into mining and things, but financially we were not in that space. So I opted for an apprenticeship, which was a great experience altogether, which opened up my eyes to opportunities. And again, it goes back to decisions and the advice I got from my dad, the conversation I've had with my dad that always influences practicality when I make decisions. So I went on and did that apprenticeship. What that meant was I didn't have to pay, but I was being paid to study and work at the same time. So this was a 4-year course, and I was fortunate enough to work for a very big organization, a good organization, and I loved what I was doing, and I went on to excel again. And part and parcel, that conversation again carried me through, because as I was doing it, all I could think of was, you do this and you do this for you. You do this not because there's a reward of your parents or of anybody, but because of the life that you want for yourself, a life that you want for your children. So fast forward, I went on to, work. And again, when things were really tough, because I'm from Zimbabwe, so when things were really tough and I was watching my kids grow, and as I watched them every day and I was in Africa, all I could think of was, to be fair, if they're anything like me, which probably they are, because my DNA flows through them, so part and parcel of that. So I was like, if they're anything like I am, if they think the same way I do, the best thing I can do for them is raise them in an environment that affords them opportunities to become who they want, without making them live my dream or live the things that I've always dreamed. But I wanted a life for them. I wanted for them to have options. I wanted for them to see the world, to experience the world, and be able to decide the pathway they want for their life. So, of course, everything I was doing, like I said, was to do for them based on the advice I got of my dad, of that conversation I had with my dad. But again, sometimes you're thinking, I'm doing this for my children, but in the end, God has got this way of doing things, and you end up living your dream through that. So when you make certain decisions, sometimes it's not entirely that decision that you get to live or get to experience, but sometimes certain doors open up for you, certain opportunities open up for you. And that's been the case with my life. That's been the case with my family and my children. So when I was faced with that decision, I knew I loved the job that I was doing. I loved everything. I loved my team. I loved everybody that was around me. I loved my family, all the support and things. But I knew, after having worked for that organization for over 10 years, and obviously I would look around, I've shared this story several times to say there was really nothing to show for all the hard work and all that nice, good titles and things. So I knew I had to make a decision for my children, for my future, for their future as well. So that's when I decided I was going to relocate. I was going to go to the UK. And I must admit, another tough decision I had to make, because when this opportunity came up, it wasn't to pursue the things that I had studied for in school. And it wasn't something that I could say I could share with my friends or family or anything, until when I was quite certain I was going. I even didn't share with my own parents, because I knew probably they would be having another piece of advice to share with me, but I wasn't ready for it. What I got when I was 15, 16 was enough for me to decide when to hold on, when to let go, when to sacrifice, and when not to. And I think that influenced again my decision. I know when I say to my husband, I want to pursue this whole care route to the UK, he was like, are you sure? I said, yeah. He was like, well, if you want it, I'll support you through it. And he has done that for me. And I do remember when we came, we left our kids behind. And from day one, all that we were focused on was we want to bring the kids as soon as we can. We couldn't wait any longer. Each and every day, what we were doing was work towards having the kids come over. And for those of you that could actually be wondering, like, is what you thought or what you planned around the kids still happening? The answer is yes. The answer is we have actually seen endless opportunities. The kids are enjoying the experience. We have conversations nearly every day around opportunities, just to try and bring awareness to them, whilst still reminding them of why we came, reminding them of the sacrifices that we made just for them to have this life, but without guilt tripping them, but just so that they are open-minded, they're principled, they will be able to make decisions for themselves in the future. And yeah, it's been going on great. I mean, these are the joys of parenting, and parenting based on a conversation I had with my dad when I was 15, 16. So kudos to him. I mean, it wasn't that bad after all. It hasn't been, that bad. Of course, it's stuck in my mind. I don't know for how long it will stay with me. And I do hope now that I've shared it with you, probably it's going to settle in my head. I'll start maybe making decisions based on other conversations and not entirely 80%, 90% on this conversation I had with my dad. A big respect and a big shout out to him. And obviously, part and parcel of the things probably that I learned now that I continue to reflect on it is the importance of hard work. And these are things that I instill. These are some of the values that I instill in my children. When I have conversations with them, when we talk about things, when we talk about life here and the life that we used to live back home, I always remind them of the importance of hard work, importance of commitment, the importance of respect for oneself, respect for others, and respect for advice, especially from people who have been there, done that. Trust me, I think I'll share in another video how advice I got from the people that surround me now that I live here, and how it's shaping my life, how it has opened windows of opportunity for myself. And part and parcel of the things before I end this video, because this was meant to be short, guys, is the fact that I do instill respect and humility in my children based on how my parents would talk to me, would make me react to opportunities, pick myself up, and life goes on. So, and above everything, the love of God, because I mean, if not for him, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So guys, that's all I had to share with you about reflecting on the advice I got of my dad when I was 15, 16, and that has been a big influence. And guys, I'll see you in my next video. And if you haven't subscribed, guys, please do subscribe, as we're going to be sharing opportunities